In the previous videos, we studied about various properties of magnetic field and magnetism due to electric current inside a conductor. We also studied how to find the direction of magnetic field when there is a current flowing in a conductor. And we studied a very important law called Biot-Savart's law. So in this video, we are going to apply this law to find out the magnetic field at any point P due to a long straight wire which is carrying a current I. So let us say that XY is a very long straight wire and the current I is flowing in the direction X to Y, and we have to find the magnetic field strength due to this current at a point P. Let us say that this point P is at a distance D from the wire, and let us take a point O dash which is at a perpendicular distance, which is at a perpendicular direction from P. Now we are going to use the same approach that we used in Biot-Savart's law. We are going to take a small length element, let us say a small length element dl is taken with center point O, and the distance of this dl from P, let it be r. Now from this point, let us say from the end point of the conductor, this is the end point of the conductor. From here it will have an angle theta, and from this point we'll have an angle, let us say this is theta 1 and this is angle theta 2. Now this small length element is taken to apply the Biot-Savart's law, and we know that from the Biot-Savart's law dB equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r square. Now if we take triangle OO dash P, then in this triangle the angle POO dash, this angle can be expressed in the terms of the two sides. We can use the cotangent trigonometric function. So cotangent of angle POO dash, this angle, the cot of this angle will be equal to this height upon this. So let us say that if this particular distance is L, then cot POO dash can be written as L by D. And if this angle is taken as theta, then we can write angle POO dash is 180 minus theta. So it will become cot 180 minus theta equals to L upon D. Cot 180 minus theta will be equal to minus cot theta. So we can write that L equals to minus D cot theta. Now if we differentiate this with respect to theta, so it will be equal to dl by d theta, because we need dl to put here. So we are going to differentiate it. So dl by d theta will be equal to minus d minus cosec square theta, which will be equal to d cosec square theta. So this will be equal to the value of dl by d theta. Now again, if we take the same triangle and we find the cosec of angle POO dash, if we find the cosec of this same angle, then this cosec will be equals to r by d, the hypotenuse upon perpendicular, or we can write r equals to d cosec theta. Now if we use these two equations, and put them in the Biot-Savart's law, then we can write dB equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I. Instead of dl, we can write d cos square theta d theta. So it will be d cos square theta, it is cosec square d cosec square theta d theta into sine theta upon r square. So it will be d square cosec square theta, and if we simplify this, cosec square theta and 1d will get cancelled. So it will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon d sine theta d theta. Now this is the small magnetic field due to this length element. If we need to find the magnetic field due to the entire conductor, we can integrate this and we can have that x and y are the endpoints. So we will integrate the dl from x to y, but the integration has to be in the terms of d theta, because here we have d theta. So if we integrate, then b will be equal to integration of db, and this will be integration of mu naught upon 4 pi I by d sine theta d theta. So d theta from x to y will be from theta 1 to theta 2. So that means the initial limit, if we are moving from x to y, so our initial limit of angle will be theta 1 and final limit will be written as theta 2. Mu naught I upon 4 pi d is treated as constant and the integration of sine is minus cos. So if we simplify this, I am writing it directly here, you can solve this yourself. We will get cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2, because the integration of sine is minus cos theta. So this is one form of Biot-Savart's law in which we are finding magnetic field at point P due to this. This can be written in some other form also, in which instead of theta 1 and theta 2, we can have the angle from x and y at point P. So this can be taken as phi 1, and if this is taken as phi 2, then we can replace them from triangle P, O dash and X. If we use this triangle, that we will get an expression that theta 1 equals to 90 minus phi 1 from this triangle. And from the triangle Y O dash P also, we can write that theta 2 equals to 90 plus phi 2, because theta 2 is the exterior angle of this triangle, so it will be equals to 90 plus phi 2. So we will have theta 1 and theta 2 in the form of phi 1 and phi 2, and we can replace it here. So we'll get another form of the same law, of the same expression. It will be cos theta 1 cos 90 minus phi 1. Now cos 90 minus phi 1 is sin phi 1, so it will be equal to sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. So we will have two expressions and we can choose either of them, whichever angle is given in the question. Now this particular example, this particular application has another form also. Here we have taken xy is a finite wire. Let us say that if x and y were not a finite wire, it is an infinite wire. So this wire is extending infinitely in this direction, in also this direction it is again ending infinitely. This can be minus infinity and this can be taken as plus infinity. If that happens, this line connecting y and p at infinity, this line, as the y goes upward towards infinity, this line connecting p will also go upward and it will keep on going upward with y. So we can say that at infinity this line connecting p and y will be a straight line. We can assume that. So that means we redraw this diagram by taking the conductor at infinity, and this is till minus infinity and this is till plus infinity, and if this is the O dash point and this is a P, then the line connecting y with P and x with P can be considered as a straight line. This was our phi 1 and phi 2. This will be 90 degree. This was T D and this was I. So now phi 1 and phi 2 become almost equal to pi by 2. So for infinite length we can take them as equal to 90 degree. So in that case, the expression of magnetic field strength gets modified and we get here sine 90 plus sine 90. Sine 90 is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. It has 2 cancelled with 4. So we'll get another expression for infinite wire. This can be used directly in the numerical. This is for infinite length of wire. Now there can be another special case with respect to the position of point P. The point P can be moved upward or in downward direction. Let us quickly summarize these special cases. The first case is when P is at a distance d from one end of the conductor of length L. So we have P is at distance d from one end of conductor, instead of from the middle of conductor, from one end of conductor, and conductor has length L. So it is a finite conductor, it is not infinite. It is a finite conductor of length L. So it will look something like this. This is X and Y. This conductor has length L and point P is at distance d from one end. So now we have only phi 2 angle here. So you'll write phi 2 here. This angle becomes 90 degree. This is our direction of current. So in that case, B becomes equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon d, and it was sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. So sine phi 1 becomes 0. So sine 0 is 0. So all that is left is sine phi 2. So this can be written as sine phi 2. Now we can apply Pythagoras theorem on this particular triangle, and sine phi 2 can be written as the perpendicular upon hypotenuse, which is py. So it is L upon L square plus d square by Pythagoras theorem, and we can put this expression here in place of sine phi 2. So it will become mu naught upon 4 pi I upon d L upon L square plus d square. This expression is when point P is at a distance d from one end of the wire and the length of the wire is finite. There can be another special case at which P is perpendicular from one end. P is at perpendicular distance from one end and the wire is infinite. So it will be same as above, but conductor of infinite length. So if the conductor is of infinite length, then we know that this phi 2 angle will keep on increasing till it reaches pi by 2. So for that, B becomes equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I by d, and sine phi 1 is 0. So it is sine 0 plus sine pi by 2, which is 1. So this becomes equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi d. Now if suppose we have point P at a perpendicular bisector, let us do another special case on the next sheet. This is our case number 3. The point P is at a perpendicular bisector of a finite conductor. So we have a finite conductor and P is on perpendicular bisector of the conductor. So if we have XY as conductor and this is the perpendicular bisector, this point O is the center of XY and P is here, then if we connect these two, then since this is a perpendicular bisector, the two angles phi 1 and phi 2 become equal to each other, and let us say they are phi. Then for in this case, phi 1 becomes equal to phi 2 becomes equal to 5, and B can be written as mu naught upon 4 pi I upon d, and sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. So sine phi plus sine phi, so 2 sine phi. This will be equal to 2 sine phi. We are doing nothing but simply substituting this condition of special cases in the original formula. The 2 gets cancelled and this expression can be written as now the last special case is that point P is on the axial point of the conductor. P is on axial point of conductor. Axial point means this point P is on the line of conductor. So if this is a conductor XY, then point P is here in the straight line. So if point P is here, then phi becomes equal to 0 degree. And since phi becomes equal to 0 degree, so B will become equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon D. And in the bracket it was sine phi plus sine phi. So sine 0 degree plus sine 0 degree. So it will be 0. So magnetic field becomes 0. So that means if point P is on the axial point, if it is on axial point, there will be no magnetic field on this point.